Hey guys, my name's Crystal Kenny, and I'm in love with creating. All things artistic and imagination involved. I'm an American girl who chased her creative dreams all the way to Paris, France, making a living using photography. This podcast takes you inside the stories of all the artsy folks I've met along the way and gives you that extra push to discover your creative gifts. The desire to create is deeply inside each and every one of us, and I give you the tools and inspiration to find a new way of living a more creative life. This is La Vie Creative, the podcast. Today on the show, I interview another American in Paris. She's originally from Detroit, Michigan, but now she calls Paris home, and she's actually my neighbor too, living right down the street in Montmartre. She is an artistic director and a choreographer. We talk about how she designs her performances, some upcoming shows, and what it's like to be a dancer in Paris. Please welcome to the show, Kyra Hauck. So welcome to the show, Kyra. I am very excited to have you here. You are a choreographer and you have been a busy woman. I know you're preparing for a big project right now. You're originally from the United States, Detroit.
Hi. Yeah. Hi, Crystal. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, I am originally from Michigan, from the Detroit area, and I have been living in Paris since 2015.
And so what brought you to Paris? Was it school? Were you planning to be a choreographer here?
I did come for school. I came to do a master's program at Paris VII, where I got my master's in translation in 2017.
Oh, in translation.
Yeah, that's my other career, the one that makes money.
Yeah, exactly. We talk about that a lot on the show. It's like, how do you make money as an artist? We have like little side projects to survive.
It's about 50% of my time. I do invest a lot of time in translation.
Are you like, which language is it? French or multiple languages?
I do primarily French to English financial translation.
Oh, that sounds super exhausting. Finance in French, that sounds horrible.
It does require quite a bit of concentration, yes.
What a workout for your brain. Well, let's talk about more of the fun stuff about choreography. So, were you always into dance? Were you always just kind of putting together your own little dance routines as a child?
Yeah, I started dancing when I was 2 years old, so pretty much as soon as I could walk.
Wow.
My mom was a classical ballerina until my sister was born, until my younger sister was born. She was in a local ballet company, and in addition to being a pharmacist, which is her main gig. And the first dance class that I ever went to was a stretch class that my mom used to take, a floor bar class, and she would just bring me with her. And I would do the class when I was real little.
That's so cute. So your mom has obviously been supportive of your dance career, and your mom was a professional ballerina?
She was in a company that was, I guess, semi-professional. So they had auditions and they were paid, but it wasn't like a full-time gig. So people could do it if they were in school or working on the side. I've worked with companies like that also in the States.
Very cool. And so when you told her you wanted to do choreography, what did she think about that?
Well, so I don't think I ever said the words I want to do choreography because it's not a way that I ever really envisioned specifically my artistic career developing in. Um, I wanted to study dance in university to be a performer, and my parents were not very thrilled about that news at all.
Yeah.
0%. So I just did both, as a lot of people do. So I have an academic career and an artistic career.
Yeah.
But I never set out specifically to be a choreographer. What really happened was I got tired of helping other people bring their visions to life, and I wanted to start to see my own work happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't I wasn't enjoying the work that I was doing with other choreographers as much after a certain point in time,
Yeah.
because I had things that I wanted to express that weren't coming out in other people's work.
Yeah, yeah. And kind of walk me through like how you even choreograph something? Like, do you like there's a certain event that needs choreography? How do you decide what you're going to do? I know there's kind of like a spiritual aspect to your choreography. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. So the artistic process for developing choreography is it's very personal, it's very individual. But in my case, I take my inspiration from some kind of problem, a problem to solve on either an individual or a societal level, and then I will apply whatever angle that I think is most pertinent, and I will start from there. So, for example, with the current project that I'm working on, there is a spiritual angle. The project is called Solo-cum-trio, and I decided to use three spiritual archetypes as a way to explore the battles that we all have within our own minds that were really exasperated during the pandemic because we were all in our heads.
Hmm.
Um, I definitely said exasperated, and the word is exacerbated, so we're gonna pretend I said exacerbated. Um,
That's a hard word.
And so the three archetypes that I'm working with are the healer, the warrior, and the saboteur. And there are plenty of different ways that you could work with this material. You could take a more of a psychological approach. You could take a sociological or anthropological approach. But I'm choosing to take a spiritual approach. Um, because the access through collective mythology is something that really resonates with me, and I think is a great way for the audience to access something that is otherwise really abstract.
Yeah, so when you're putting together this piece, like say for example, the warrior, like would you be putting together moves that look like a warrior is like fighting in a battle or something like that? Or like how do you come up with the actual movements?
So the for this work, actually, I'm doing a lot of collaboration with experts in three fields that I'm pairing with each of the archetypes, in addition to the inspiration from the I'm using the Sumerian pantheon. So
Hmm.
for the warrior archetype is inspired by Inanna, who's the Sumerian queen of heaven, the goddess of war. So I'm actually using the Sumerian texts that we still have, which are most notably the Epic of Gilgamesh, and Inanna's ascent into heaven, into hell, excuse me. And so I take inspiration from the text, and then I start to build a movement vocabulary on my own. And then, in addition to the textual and visual inspiration, because we do have visual traces of cuneiform texts and drawings of these deities, um, I'm pairing with a Krav Maga instructor from the International Federation of Krav Maga, who is actually a French gendarme.
Wow,
Um,
this is cool.
yeah, so he's consulting with me on the warrior archetype and also teaching self-defense as part of the programming that we're offering in developing this work to the community.
Oh, so also you're going to be teaching people self-defense, but you're going to work in those self-defense moves into your actual choreography?
Right. So the idea is not to copy any one type of movement vocabulary, but to use the movement vocabulary as a basis for inspiration to complement the ideas that I already have and other visual inspirations. We're doing the same thing for the healer archetype. I'm working with the trainer for the French national Tai Chi team, whose name is Siran Jazar.
Hmm.
And we actually have an event with him at the gallery in 2 days already at the beginning of the project.
Very cool. I love how all these mediums are overlapping.
Yeah, that's something that we really enjoy doing with the dance company is taking a really pluridisciplinary approach to our art. My
Hmm.
co-director Lauren works very closely with musicians and works on composing the the musical accompaniment to her works as if the music were its own character, and she works very closely with professional musicians, even though she isn't one, and
Mhm.
basically directs them to compose the work as in the way that she wants it. Whereas I work more with visual artists and specialists of uh, different movement techniques or anatomical techniques.
So fascinating. So basically, there's a lot going on this choreography. That's like, I didn't expect that many different things coming into play for this one show. I mean, that's fascinating. And so, how did this whole idea come up? Was it the pandemic where you're like, we need to express this, we need to talk about this, we need, like, what do you hope to do with your choreography?
So the community oriented side of this project is to give people access to a holistic approach to health
Hmm.
through the arts. So we have the healer through Tai Chi, and I'm also a massage therapist and energy worker. So we're combining the different healing modalities. We have self defense through the warrior, and we also have mental health because the our consultants for the saboteur character are psychologists. So the idea is for each of these different disciplines, we're going to do a series of events at the gallery where we perform excerpts, and we also have some kind of workshop offered by the expert that consulted on that character.
Hmm.
And then we also are going to do roundtable discussions at the end of each performance event. The idea being introducing people to alternative approaches to healing and a way to take care of their whole selves. Um,
I think this is
especially
exactly what we need right now.
exactly, and it's all the more important for the for the audience that we're going to have at the gallery because it's a lot of people who are unemployed and underemployed, a lot of migrants, and also children in the neighborhood. Uh,
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about that? Is that through Espace Canopy? Is that like mainly like helping in underdeveloped parts of the community? Is that what this all came from?
the working with the Espace Canopy, they have am I echoing?
Oh no.
No, okay. Working with the Espace Canopy, they work with a lot of different disadvantaged groups in the community, mostly migrants, seniors, and children. And that's one of the really interesting advantages of pairing with this gallery is that they give us access to these segments of the population in our own community that I wouldn't necessarily have access to as an individual artist.
Yeah, I think that it's really huge. Like I've photographed a couple things for them, and it's all bringing arts to part of Paris and France that don't usually have access, you know? Like so they're trying to make art accessible for everybody, correct?
Exactly. That's something that's really important to my work.
Hmm. Yeah. And so talk a little bit about how you feel when you're dancing or when you're creating choreography. Like, how do you feel inside? How do you get into those flow states? Talk a little bit about that.
So dance is a very I'm very lucky, I guess, to be a dancer and to have dance as my medium of artistic expression because the relationship that like we have as human beings with dance and movement as a way to express connection to each other and to nature is as old as our relationships with other humans and nature. You know, they happened at the same time. And so when you fully invest in some kind of dance movement, whether it's codified or not, it really doesn't matter. You have you tap into this very deep part of the collective psyche. You access something that is very, very old and very, very profound. Because we have this deep connection to dance on on an evolutionary level, really, as human beings, it's a very effective way to access what is true meditation or mindfulness, that is being fully 100% in your body and in the present moment with whatever you're doing. And because dance is hard, you really can't do it if you aren't fully invested. So it kind of forces you to access that meditative state and stay
And
there.
does that count for when you like had a couple drinks and you're out with the girls at the club and you're dancing? Are we still getting into a meditative state during those
I think
periods?
absolutely. And entheogens of any kind have always been used in spiritual practice, whether it's alcohol or psilocybin mushrooms, it's the same thing. It doesn't really matter
Yeah.
what the substance is, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's so funny because me and my girlfriends were just talking about the other day how we just really want to go out and dance and just have like a night out, because all the clubs have been closed and everything. But I
Oh, I
never thought
miss
about it.
clubs.
Yeah, I want to
Miss
go out
clubs
and
so
dance.
much.
I want to go. I want to go. But it's so interesting about what you were saying, how it's connected to us on such a deeper level, like that psyche you were saying, like it's very tribal in some ways, would you say?
Yes, absolutely. It goes back to our tribal origins and nomadic origins, really the very beginning of Homo sapiens, and even before that, we've
Yeah.
always used movement to express ourselves.
And is that like the same for music? Like music and dance are obviously kind of completely connected and like the same thing in a lot of ways, how humans react to it.
Yeah, in many cultures, there isn't one without the other, right? You would never like have dance without music, and you would also never have music without dance.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. And they're still trying to figure out really how our brain is so into it, because our brains react in such a special way to music. And like you said, we're all kind of connecting. Like you go to a concert and everybody's like moving the same way, feeling the same rhythm. It's really fascinating how, like you said, it connects us all as humans and like on a deeper level.
yeah, yes, absolutely. Um, the uh, the like concert experience is very similar to what different spiritual traditions try to create in their spiritual, cult, religious experiences, whatever they are. Any kind of communal experience or any music experience or performance experience, it's all the same thing. They're all trying to access the same thing, and music is an incredibly effective way to do that. I think it also has to do with the way that sound waves are absorbed by the body, right? It's not just that we're hearing them in our ears, but they actually penetrate our flesh. So it reaches us really into our bones is where we can feel music all the way to the deepest layers of ourselves.
I never thought about it that way. That's really fascinating. Like it to our bones. That's so deep. And what are some differences between French dance and maybe like American choreography or American dance? Like I feel like the French are really into what they call rock and roll or whatever they call it. Like I guess like swing.
So French social dancing, they are really into to rock, which was never a thing in the States. We didn't do that, but they did it here.
Yeah, it seems kind of dorky to me.
I agree. I never really quite understood why the French are so into it. But they also have a pretty strong tradition of social dancing. Like I don't know if you've ever seen traditional country dancing from the different regions of France.
No,
Um,
I would love to. All right. So definitely you can feel music all the way through your body. And we were talking about how the French in different regions, they have different country dance moves. So talk a little bit about that. I've never seen that. That sounds fascinating.
so in Brittany, for example, they have um, a type of dance that they do at what are basically like their like county, they do the equivalent of a county fair, basically. And they have very specific traditional music that goes with these kind of like country line dances, and there's a lot of circle dances and line dances, and it's part of their like cultural heritage in Brittany.
I would love to see this because in parts of America we have all our line dancing, but I never thought they did line dancing here. But that's what they're calling rock, basically.
Right, is the same kind of idea, yeah.
And so what is the hardest part of choreography or, dance for you?
Oh, that's a good question. The what's really challenging as a choreographer is that you have to be very vulnerable and very humble. Because when you create movement, you can have it mean something to you, and you can, think that it's cool or it's pretty, or, you can think you did a good job, but that doesn't really mean anything until you show someone else. And as you work on developing a piece, you want to bring people in so that you can have their opinions on your work, and you can adjust accordingly. But that's very difficult because any kind of like critiques that you're going to get on your choreography, because it's something that's really a part of yourself, it's really hard not to take it personally and get discouraged, even though any critique is a good critique, even if it's to change something.
Mm. That's a good point. It is hard because, like you said, it's like a piece of you, of who you are, and then to have someone dislike that can be really hurtful. So, how do you deal with that?
In theater, they say kill your babies.
In writing too.
So I've gotten very good at that. I just am ready to. I'm just not married to anything anymore. Anything that I create, I'm ready to throw it out if it doesn't work. So basically, I just plan to create like 3 times more than what I need.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
so
like
then,
that. There's something really freeing in that when you can just say, okay, well, I'm ready to adapt, however, and make changes. And also, I feel like with choreography a lot, like especially like modern dance and things like that, do you feel like sometimes people are just not going to get it? They're like, what was that? No idea.
yeah, that's a big, I guess, maybe not a problem, but it's a major issue that Lauren and I spend a lot of time reflecting on. My co-director is what is the purpose of having dance mean something, and how important is it that the audience understand the meaning, and to what extent? Because we aren't necessarily always in a narrative structure. Her work a little bit more because she creates more theatrical pieces, but my work isn't necessarily going to have a narrative structure. However, it does mean something, and I do want the audience to have some kind of experience, probably not the one that I thought of, but an experience kind of in the same direction. So we spend a lot of time going through our work and asking ourselves, okay, why this movement? What does it mean? What motivates it? And then where does that take me? To really get to be able to answer the question at any point in the sequence of my work, why am I doing this?
I like that. Yeah. Because I feel like you put all this thought and, all these ideas into this movement. And then some people are just like, I don't get it. Or what does that mean? Like, I guess that's what programs are for, because they're going to read the program and say, oh, yeah, that's the warrior, or that's, whatever. Because I feel like when you put that much thought into something, you want people to also understand. But like you said, everyone's going to evoke some kind of emotion. And that's the most important thing, I guess.
And also, nobody reads the program.
Yeah.
So.
Nobody
we write
reads
program notes, but we know that no one's going to read it. So
I mean, the most important thing is like people are having a collective experience and feeling something, hopefully, like reacting to the art.
Right. That's what's most important. And that is another thing that's challenging, is being able to, once you have your idea and your inspiration and you know what you want the audience to feel, great, we've got all of the parameters in place. Now what? What do you do about it?
Yeah. How do you create that?
Right. And so that's when everyone has their own techniques, but we do a lot of like visual stimulation, kind of vision board work, a lot of writing. I do a lot of writing, a lot of reading. And there's a lot of experimenting in the space, and that is also not easy because you have to have a place that you can rehearse. It can be outside, but not when it's raining like today.
Yeah, it's pouring.
And you need to be able to be in a place where you can feel safe enough to generate movement and try things, but also create with a sense of urgency because you don't have, unlimited time either.
Mm-hmm. It's a delicate balance.
It is indeed.
And how do you define creativity?
That's another great question. Creativity, the ability to take something that you feel inside of yourself and recreate it externally so that someone else can experience it also.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good one.
Do you ask everyone that question?
Yeah, I do. Most of the guests I ask. It's always a different answer, which I really appreciate. Because it is hard to define creativity. It means something different to everybody. And why do you think artists are attracted to Paris?
Okay, that's a great question also. So for me personally, there's a creative energy in this city that is palpable. And as soon as I first came to Paris for the first time when I was 10 years old, I got off the plane and I was like, yep, gonna live here at 10. Because I felt this energy, the creative energy that's in the air, and especially in Montmartre where I live, it's still an artist neighborhood. Most of the people in my building, most people on my street are at least part-time artists, if not full-time artists. And there is a community that exists here that once you are a part of that community, they really do hold you up.
That's so funny. It sounds like we had the same experience because I was 14 the first time I came here as like a student ambassador. And I was like, yep, I'm going to move here. And it was when I was standing in Montmartre that I decided because I just loved Montmartre. And now we're neighbors. I live down the street from you. So it sounds like we had the same experience. And even though it's become kind of bougie and like rich people in Montmartre, like you said, there's still a lot of artists. There's always people playing in the street. There's always people creating. There's all the ateliers. So I think the artist spirit is still very much alive in Montmartre.
Yes, but it's a little bit bougie for sure. But,
right.
but as long as we can still pay our rent, everything's fine, right?
Exactly. And we can enjoy the beauty of Montmartre because it's literally a film set. And do you have any advice for people who are searching for their creative gifts?
Yes. If you haven't yet found the outlet for your creativity, try everything because you never know what it will be. And I think there's so many diverse ways to be creative, and people are often intimidated by the fact that maybe they haven't trained as an artist in a specific discipline, but that doesn't really matter. And it doesn't necessarily give us an advantage over anyone else. Everyone's heard the stories of people that just like show up in a discipline and do like 1 year of training and then are famous for forever. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So I would say just try to think outside the box and try to make creativity a part of your everyday routine. Do it every day.
Yeah, and I think that there's so many ways to be creative. It doesn't just have to be painting or dancing. I mean, it's literally just problem solving, which is part of our daily routine anyway.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people can use more of their creative selves in their jobs, in their everyday lives than they have a tendency to do. And it makes us better at whatever it is what we're doing if we're using our creative side to approach the issue.
Yeah, it's all about bringing play back into your daily life.
Exactly.
Gotta get playful, guys.
You gotta have fun.
where can people connect with you online and learn more about your work and see your work? And the show you were talking about, it's running through August to December?
So the residency at Espace Canopy begins this week, and we have one event per month until through the month of November, like small research events, and then we have performance events in December, January, and February. People can check out our website, which is dancetheatersurreality.org. Dance and theater are spelled the French way, DANSETHEATRE, and surreality is not a real word. We made it up, so it's spelled the way we spell it.
I love it.
Reality.
Perfect.
And we also have a Facebook page, and our Instagram is just our company name with underscores between the words.
I will share all of that in the show notes, and I'm excited to see what you will come up with next and to see your show, and maybe I'll bump into you on the street one day.
I would love that.
Thank you so much for chatting with me today, and I look forward to meeting you in person.
Thanks, Crystal. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for tuning in to La Vie Creative. You can find more information on MissParisPhoto.com. And if you enjoyed this show, please feel free to share and spread the word for all my creative guests. We have the power to help them to keep doing what they love. See you next time.